Mr. Schneider, you have filed a document captioned emergency petition for custody and parenting time, which the
Correct.
court would take as a motion to establish your rights as a parent.
Correct.
This is basically a parenting action that you're filing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're wanting to proceed pro se here this morning without an attorney representing yourself?
That is correct.
And Miss Marissa Rundle, you're also wanting to proceed here today pro se without an attorney?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to swear you both in so that statements you make to the court are under oath so that we can deal with some issues here, okay? So I'll start with Jordan Schneider. If you'd raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear and or affirm that your statements to the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, subject to the penalties for perjury in the state of Kansas.
I do.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. And Miss Marissa Rundle, if you'd raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear and or affirm that your statements to the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, subject to the penalties for perjury in the state of Kansas.
I swear.
Thank you. Now, this action involves one child, Errol Schneider, is that correct?
Yes.
And he is 5 years old?
She is 5 years old, yes.
He is 5 years old. Well, Mr. Schneider, you're requesting custody and parenting time at this time?
Correct.
Okay. Who has the child resided with?
Me.
Have you two resided together during any of this time?
Yes. And we did have 50-50 custody when times when we weren't together. We had every other week.
Okay, what has changed?
Honestly, no.
Let's go one at a time. Mr. Schneider, you're the petitioner. Go ahead.
There was we ended our relationship like October 7th, and there was a no contact order between me and Marissa, and there had been time when I didn't get to see Errol, and when I found out the order was lifted, then I had tried to see Errol. And I wasn't able to see her.
Ms. Rundle.
The no contact order was lifted October 14th, and he didn't try to see her until December 16th.
Is there any doubt in either of your minds that Mr. Jordan Schneider is the father of Errol?
No.
No.
Okay, so both parties are acknowledging paternity.
Yes.
What was the plan for visitation prior to, well, did you reside together up through October 7th?
Yes.
Okay, and now you're residing apart,
Correct.
and the parties anticipate that will continue?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you're needing to establish some parenting time.
Correct.
Correct. I do have our agreement. I don't know if I show it on here. From 12/19/2020. And it says that we share 50-50 custody and exchanges will be made every Friday at 6:30 p.m. He called me on a Monday, and so since it was past Friday, I considered that my week with her. And when I said, I don't remember saying no, I just said it was like during the school week, I'd prefer to do it on a weekend. He didn't like that. So that's why we're here. But he did get her on Friday, whatever day that was, after the 16th, and at 6:30, or before 6:30 actually.
And what was your agreement as far as how you would share parenting time?
Just exchange every Friday, like switch every week with her.
So
We just never made a new agreement when school started.
live 1 week with one parent, then live the next week with the other parent?
Yes.
Okay. Do you live in the same town?
No.
No,
Okay.
I live in Collier,
You live in Collier?
but I work in Hayes.
And Miss Rundle, you live in Hayes?
Yes.
And where does the child go to school?
In Hayes.
And Mr. Schneider, is it still feasible for the child to reside with you every other week while attending school in Hayes?
Absolutely. And if I may, Your Honor, I do have a statement I just wanted to say, if that's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
The reason that I filed this and why I filed it for her to live with me is just I've had steady employment for nearly 2 years, and I worked out a schedule with my employer that would allow me to drop and pick up Errol from school every day. And I have a reliable vehicle and a stable home. And since I found out that the no contact order against me was lifted on December 16th, I have made consistent efforts to reconnect with Errol despite repeated calls and messages to Marissa, Errol's mother, asking to see our daughter. I was denied access until I filed this motion. On the 16th, after I found out the no contact order was dropped, I called Marissa at 4:10 p.m. to ask if I could see Errol. She refused and hung up on me. I followed up with additional calls and text messages, expressing my desire to see Errol and emphasizing that I would never withhold her from Marissa. And then on December 19th, I took my lunch break early at work to go have lunch with Errol at school because Marissa wouldn't allow me to see her. And when me and Errol saw each other, we were both emotional. She expressed how much she missed me. And she also shared some concerning comments, including that her mother had 2 boyfriends in a short period and that the police had visited their home recently. I'm just concerned about Errol's living situations under Marissa's care just due to the following. To my knowledge, Marissa doesn't have a job or a reliable vehicle. She relies on her mother for transportation. She has demonstrated a lack of communication and cooperation regarding co-parenting. She delayed allowing me to see Errol, ignored calls and multiple messages, and required me to sign an agreement promising to give her back just to spend time with our daughter. Errol had mentioned that she had 2 boyfriends within 3 months, which raises concerns about stability in the household. Additionally, Marissa falsely claimed to have filed harassment charges against me, which was proven untrue when I verified that with the police department. Errol shared that Marissa sprayed perfume before answering the door to the police, which raises questions about the reasons for the welfare check conducted at her house on December 18th. I just want to say I'm committed to ensuring that Errol grows up in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment, and I've taken every step possible to be a consistent and present father. And I respect Marissa's role in Errol's life, and I would never deny her access to our daughter. However, I just believe granting me temporary custody would be in Errol's best interest.
Okay, in your petition, you're asking for a joint custody
Yeah. Can I say something?
with, hang on just a second, Miss Rundle. So you're throwing around a term of custody. You're wanting joint custody where you both have custody. What you're asking for is actually a residential situation,
Yes.
different than the week to week that you have been doing.
Yes, that's because that's what we were supposed to be doing, but she ignored my calls she didn't answer any of my calls or anything. The day she hung up on me, I called multiple times and sent text messages after that, and she never responded to me until after she got served the papers for what we're going through now. She got served at 9 a.m. and she still didn't message me until like 5, almost 6 o'clock that night. Before that, she had just ignored all messages.
Miss Rundle,
I do have a job. I'm not sure what he's talking about. And she's lived with me through this whole entire time since she was born. I mean, I've never moved. And I took her to school every day last year, picked her up every day last year. And he didn't help at all in August, September with schooling. He just said he couldn't because of his job when I had asked for him to help. He lives with his parents. I live on my own. I pay my own bills. The only thing he does have right is that I don't have a car right now because it is broke down. But she still is on school at 7:30 every day. And he lied on the emergency custody thing that he just, this is what this is for, on the child's residence history for the last 5 years. He only put his address is until to the bottom he put mine, but he put both of us when most of the time we didn't live together. So
We
I'm not
didn't.
sure. Like, we've had an agreement, yes, but like I said, I asked the police department in place when the no contact order was dropped. They said October 14th because I didn't press charges because he broke my door, and the cops were called in, and he pushed me, which is fine, but I didn't press charges on him. So that's why the no contact order was dropped. But it was his fault. He should have asked the police when the no contact order was dropped. But he waited until December 16th to do that. So
right.
that's
Well,
why.
again, the court is viewing this as actually a paternity action. You've had no previous litigation of any kind concerning the child,
Are you
correct?
talking
I'm
me?
asking both of
Oh,
you. You've had
No.
no prior litigation concerning the child. And you're stating you were never married to one another?
yeah.
No.
No.
Okay, so you've never been married, correct?
Correct.
Nope.
Okay, so court is viewing this as a paternity action that has been filed. All we're going to accomplish today are some temporary orders. And then you will have to set a hearing because you only set aside 30 minutes today, and we can't get into the whole history and make a decision on residential custody for a permanent situation in 30 minutes. So today we're just dealing with temporary orders. So on a temporary basis, is it workable to do the week with each when she's going to school here and you're living in Collier, Mr. Schneider?
Absolutely.
Miss Rundle,
Yes.
do you believe it's workable?
Honestly, I think that's a lot for a 5-year-old to deal with, switching back and forth, especially since he's out of town. Um, she already started not doing so good in school. During the 2 months that he was absent. Um, so I'm not really sure how I feel about that.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to deny him time with her. Like, that has nothing to do with it. It's just like, but I picture me trying to do that as a 5-year-old, and I just feel like that'd be a lot.
What grade is Arrow in?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten, so she's done one semester of kindergarten
Yes.
play.
And she's, I have an older daughter, older daughter, and she goes to school with her every time, like every day. Like we have a routine. So that also kind of, I just don't know how she's gonna feel about it, not going to school with her sister. Yeah, they go to the same school, but they're in different grades. They don't get to see each other that often in school.
What grade is the older child in?
5th grade.
And when did you stop the week with each parent? Did that stop in October?
It's stopping like 2023.
Okay, so in 2023, you stopped doing every other week.
Yeah.
Well, because we were living together.
And you were living together?
Yes.
And and you separated then in October of 24?
Yes. And we didn't technically have to stop the 50-50 then. I assumed that we would just keep doing it. And the court never notified me that the no contact order was lifted. I just assumed that when I had court, they would lift it then. Which is why the day I found out that it was lifted, I contacted her right away.
Again, right now, all we're doing is setting some temporary orders. What's in the best interest of the child to spend time with both parents. And you had been doing week on, week off. Did that work prior to your coming back together and trying to live together in 2023?
Yes.
Well, we haven't done the week on, week off since she started school, and she went to preschool. He only took her to school when I had something going on and I couldn't. So I don't really.
Mr. Schneider, does your job allow you to have her to school on time in the morning?
Absolutely. I talked to my boss, and he has no problem with me coming in after I drop her off at school and leaving early to go pick her up from school. He said that when it's with my child, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so you're able to drop her off at the
And
normal
pick her up.
drop-off time and pick her up at the normal pickup time.
Correct. That's no problem at all.
Ms. Rundle, the court would like to try that on a temporary basis until we can have our hearing and see how it works out. You haven't tried it since she's been in school, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Why don't we give it a try and see how it works out? Who's Arrow with right now?
With me.
Okay. So this Friday would be a switch time.
Yes.
Are you prepared, Mr. Schneider, to have her this next week?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I was hoping that I could anyway.
Well, she's on break right now.
Right. Right. She's on break. So then you would have her this next week, Mr. Schneider. When does she go back to school, Miss Rundle?
I believe it's like on the 7th, maybe, of January. I'm not quite for sure on that, but
On the Monday? Monday the 6th or Tuesday the 7th?
I think it's Tuesday the 7th, but
Okay, well, if he picks her up, and what's your exchange night?
it says 6:30.
Well,
Every
it's
On Fridays.
on Friday.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to take her tonight, Mr. Schneider?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you'll take her tonight. And you'll exchange again on January 3rd. We need to set up a time for a lengthier hearing to determine residential custody situation and or parenting time. Both of you need to do a domestic relations affidavit and submit it to the court. And then both of you need to let the court know whether or not you're seeking any child support. Okay.
Okay. In an agreement, it says that neither of us pay child support, and the one that he just recently did, he put that in there as well, that there would be no child support.
Okay, well, the court needs to look at what's in the best interest of the child. And parties are required to submit a domestic relations affidavit to the court in domestic cases. So both of you need to do that. Jess, let's set a review of the temporary orders.
How far out, Judge, and how much time would you like to allow?
For a review of temporary orders, 1 hour, and go a month down the road. Then let's see how this works for a month.
January 30th, we could do 10 o'clock.
Does that work for the parties?
Yes.
January 30th at 10 o'clock?
Yes.
Yes.
January 30th, 10 a.m. for an
Yes.
hour.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Schneider, you need to prepare an order from today's hearing. This is temporary orders on a paternity action. Show that both parties acknowledge that you are the father of Errol. So the court establishes your paternity of Errol. That the parties retain joint custody of the child. On a temporary basis, we're going to do the week on, week off with exchanges Friday night. And what time do you want to exchange?
6:30?
Does that work, Ms. Rundle?
Yeah.
6:30 p.m. exchanges. Tonight we'll start a week with the plaintiff, July 3rd with the defendant, or I'm sorry, the respondent, Ms. Rundle. We'll alternate and we'll have a review on January 30th at 10 a.m.
Okay.
And see how this is working. If either party, both parties need to do the qualified domestic relations affidavit and submit for the court. Okay?
Okay.
You can find that form online at the Kansas Judicial Council. You need to fill out the qualified domestic relation affidavit and submit it to the court. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Any questions about what we've done so far? Mr. Schneider,
I don't believe so.
Ms. Rundle.
Who's gonna be responsible for the court fees and stuff?
Well, he has paid the filing fee to get this rolling, I assume.
Yep.
Correct, Mr. Schneider?
I did.
Okay. So we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, fill out those domestic relation affidavits, get that to the court. Mr. Schneider, you're responsible to put the order together, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And we'll see you on January 30th at 10 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.